When a grant is awarded, an individual is designated as the Grant Officer Technical Representative, or GOTR, who assumes responsibility for the grant. This video will cover basic guidelines the GOTR must follow when assuming responsibilities for existing and new grants. When a GOTR assumes responsibility for a grant, this announces to the grantee that the GOTR is the primary point of contact on all matters related to the grant. The GOTR must report any potential conflicts of interest to the grant officer, such as if a new project manager is actually their neighbor, so the grant officer can determine whether there may be a conflict of interest and they can remain the GOTR. When a GOTR takes responsibility on an existing grant, the GOTR change should be made quickly to avoid delays in the work progress. There are 3 steps the GOTR should take when assuming responsibility for an existing grant. They should immediately notify the grantee in writing that a change has occurred. Follow up to ensure that the required update for a GOTR change is executed in e-grants. Review all documentation associated with the award. The best way to become familiar with a grant project is to speak to the outgoing GOTR, if possible, in addition to reviewing the grant agreement, correspondence with the grantee, and official grant records and review reports in e-grants, Health and Human Services Payment Management System, or PMS, and other tracking systems. When assuming responsibility for a newly awarded grant, there are 5 steps the GOTR should take. The GOTR should review the official grant record in e-grants, paying special attention to special conditions and timeframes. Make an introductory call to the grantee within 15 days of assignment. The GOTR congratulates the grantee and walks through the grant agreement. Schedule a post-award orientation meeting with the grantee to discuss the statement of work. The GOTR should plan their questions in advance and, if possible, share these questions ahead of time so the grantee has time to research the answers. Hold a post-award orientation meeting between key representatives from VET's state and regional offices and the grantee organization. During this meeting, the GOTR should ensure that the terms, conditions, and expectations of the project are fully understood by the grantee. Follow up on any required action items identified through the orientation process and any special conditions placed on the grant. For grants in e-grants, the GOTR should maintain a working file and ensure all post-award activities are documented. Following these procedures helps give the new grantee a full understanding of the requirements of the grant agreement, their responsibilities, and how to administer the grant. Establishing a grantee and GOTR relationship up front also contributes to the successful execution of the grant. This video, Assuming Responsibility for a Grant, was brought to you by the National Veterans Training Institute.